Cinema Recall is available everywhere you find great podcasts.
The hell was that?
It's our voice promo guy.
Follow them on Facebook and Instagram under Cinema Recall Podcast and on Twitter at Cinema_Recall.
Vern, can we afford to have a voiceover guy?
We can't afford not to. He used to be a voice guy for movie trailers, but now he just follows me around and gives me movie trailer narration.
That's really sad.
What? Now we're giving him purpose in life. He now has a reason to go on.
Check out past episodes at cinemarecall.net. Promise it's fun!
I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Kevin Dougherty.
And this is Collateral Cinema and the podcast that wouldn't die.
Ow!
Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas. And yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast. So whatever you have, be it dabs, blunts, bongs, or joints, smoke it if you've got it, my friends. And we are excited to once again bring you an entry from the Rocky franchise. This is something that we've been doing going all the way back pretty much to our first or second season, I believe. And we are finally at Rocky 5, pretty much the last actual numbered movie in the franchise, and a little bit of an outlier when it comes to where these movies went in previous entries and where it went afterwards. So with us to help get through this this movie, I guess you can call it, is of course our co-host Ashley Chancellor. How you doing, Ash?
Yo, absolutely. Happy to be here.
Oh, of course. And from the podcast that wouldn't die, we have Kevin. How are you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing great, except that I had to watch this movie.
Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, I guess this is something that we could have had on a Bad Movie December, probably, but
It's the one bad Rocky movie. That's
it
you
is.
know.
Yeah. I mean, what else can you really say about it? I mean, this movie is just so convoluted. I don't know what else to really say about it, but let's get into our first initial thoughts on Rocky 5, and we'll go ahead and start with you, Kevin. But I mean, also first just to give us a little for some of those listeners that may not know who you are. I mean, it's been a while since you've been on the show. Maybe let our listeners know who you are and what you think of and your initial thoughts of Rocky 5.
Sure. I'm Kevin. I'm one of the hosts of the podcast that wouldn't die. Each week we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics of the horror and sci-fi genres with a comedic twist. Rocky 5. I have to say, I think I saw this when it first came out way, way, way back in the day. And I don't think I've seen it since until I had to watch it for this show.
You're welcome.
It definitely has a bad reputation going into it. And it's funny, we were joking about it, that I accidentally watched Rocky 4, thinking we were going to talk about that. Then to my horror discovered, no, Rocky 5 with Tommy the Machine Gun.
Man.
God damn it.
Kevin,
What a disappointment that must have been to realize, oh no, it's actually Rocky 5 that I have to watch and talk about.
Seriously, I am so fucking sorry about that. I should have been a little more upfront about which one we were doing, because I don't blame you for that, because at the end of the day, Rocky 4 is a much more entertaining movie than this one is. So
it has its flaws, but it's Rocky 3 and 4 and 2 are all still good movies. None of them as good as the first one. And for what it's worth, Rocky Balboa and the Creed films are all good. It is really just, this is the sore thumb. This is the movie that sticks out, and funny enough is actually just completely unnecessary.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I read somewhere that he only expected this to be like a trilogy, a Rocky trilogy, and he went back once more for Rocky 4. He arguably says, for the money, for the country, whatever, and then literally going from the mountaintop, the literal mountaintop, to Rocky 5. I don't know what this was, a cash grab?
Well, it was teased as the end. It was supposed to be the final film. In fact, at one point, Rocky was actually going to die, and Stallone ended up turning back on that decision. But he did still go for a darker, more serious approach to this, which clashes with some of the other aspects of this movie. We'll get into that later. But this movie did market itself as the final Rocky movie. And thank God it wasn't, because, I mean, on its own, it's an okay movie at best, but it is a bad Rocky movie, and it is a terrible way to end the franchise. Thank God Stallone agreed with that, and that's why he made Rocky Balboa, 15, 20 years later. But what's funny is that what's really, really funny about that is that you could actually completely remove Rocky 5 from the equation, and all of the context really is kind of there to set up Rocky Balboa as the final installment. Like there really was, like, you could just take Rocky 5 out and it actually makes some sense. I mean, it's been 20 years since he's been retired from the fight with Drago. He's injured. Adrian dies. His son's grown up. At that point, I wouldn't put it past Rocky to sell everything else, buy a restaurant, and, just live the humble life from that point. I can see how something like that would have shaken him. So this movie ends up being completely unnecessary, but I do appreciate that it did try to go back to a more grounded approach, maybe trying to kind of emulate the style of the first Rocky film. That is why Stallone took a backseat from directing and gave it to John G. Avildsen, the director of the first Rocky movie. The way that it delivers Rocky into that grounded state, it just left a bad taste in everyone's mouths in the 90s.
I think the biggest problem with it is the fact that the John G. Avildsen that directed this movie was not the same one that directed the first Rocky movie. He was pretty much an unknown and unproven director back when the first Rocky movie was made. But by this point, he's already had 3 goddamn Karate Kid movies under his belt. And I mean, we all saw where that franchise went, I mean, it went from a really, really good and kind of grounded original first movie to 2 of arguably some of the schlockiest pieces of sports cinema ever made, like the third Karate Kid movie is hilarious,
I like all the Karate Kid films, and I'll stand by all of them.
Yeah, but that style just does not work with the type of gravitas and grit that they originally achieved with the original Rocky movie. It just wasn't going to happen again because, I mean, John J. Avildsen, he was just already a fully commercialized director by that point, so he just didn't have that same that same hunger to make something that was really that grounded. That was more what Stallone wanted. Avildsen kind of made something that was more like a product. I mean, it even at times kind of feels like it's a made-for-TV movie version of Rocky even.
It does. And actually, that makes a lot of sense, too, because, I mean, the grounded aspects of the storyline come from the script, which Stallone wrote. So that's why, like, the script takes these characters in darker directions. But the movie itself, the way that it's directed is at odds with that. And it comes across so goddamn odd. But I think the thing that really I take an issue with right away was just how they take away everything from Rocky's character. Right. And I know that's the intended response, is you're supposed to hate it. It's supposed to be frustrating, but it just made it feel like the past 4 goddamn movies didn't matter. I mean, we had, Rocky the underdog in the 70s and Rocky 1 and 2. And then we saw the 80s take Rocky to new heights and go in a completely other direction, Yep. But now, they want to put him back in this underdog role. A film that did that way better was Rocky Balboa. It actually worked with that character journey. And in that end state where the character is at here does end up paying off in the later films. So I'll give it credit. In retrospective, this film isn't as bad for this, but it still, I mean, trying to take Rocky back into the underdog role, I get that. And I agree with that. I feel like that's a good decision. But the way that it attempted to do that, like taking literally everything away from him, was a gut punch, man. And it sucks. And it's all because of Paulie. So not only do we have this situation with Rocky, but it's the character assassination of Paulie, who is, I mean, let's talk about Paulie, right? He's a piece of shit, right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but he was always a piece of shit.
Paulie.
I mean, he's smacking Adrian around in the first movie. He's always horrible. He's totally racist against Apollo in the third movie. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah. No, he is a piece of shit, like 100%. But I still felt like there were some redeeming qualities in some moments and some character development from him in the past couple films. And here we are, and that left with the conclusion that, nope, Paulie's just a piece of shit. But at the end of the day, he's family, right? Rocky knows he's a piece of shit.
It's just really, really disheartening that they actually decided to still give Paulie any type of actual major decision-making powers in any meaningful way from a business or legal standpoint. It's like, I mean, what the fuck are y'all doing? This guy is a degenerate piece of shit. I mean, yeah, I was like kind of envisioning Rocky having to tell his sons, like, hey, I'm sorry that your uncle is a fucking piece of shit and fucked our lives up, but hey, them's the skids, kid. It's like, I mean, what the fuck are y'all doing? It's like he's a proven loser. It's like why? Right. It's like of course he would find an accountant that would do some fly-by-night bullshit like what they pulled here. It's nonsensical to me.
Well, and that was happening a lot in the 80s. I know, like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had his money guy take all his money. And flee the country. I mean, this was kind of in the news at the time, so I guess it's kind of topical.
Yeah, yeah, but why even keep him around after that? That's what I don't understand. It's like, why aren't they like just blacklisting him from everything? It's like Paulie, you're out of your lane. Shut the fuck up and go sit the fuck down.
Well, here's like, why. I mean, it's like I said, Rocky knows that Paulie's a piece of shit. He's aware of this. He's dealt with him several times over these movies, but he's family. Then that's just Rocky's attitude about family. It's very Italian American.
Very, very, but to a fault.
Yes.
It's like there's just a point where, I mean, if family is going to keep on dicking you over like that, you at the very least take them out of any type of business decision-making role,
Exactly.
You at least go that far. But, I mean, it's like, come on now. It's like they don't do that. It's like Rocky just never really thinks that far ahead about anything, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said earlier, like there's a logical way that Rocky could have lost everything and gone back to a humble life, but, having him just lose everything because of a stupid fucking decision that Paulie made, and then continues to be a dick about afterwards and continues to mooch off of them,
Yeah.
It's just a gut punch, and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and now you're like, great, well, where's this film gonna go? But you know what? Okay, I fuck with them taking Rocky in the underdog route. We did what we need to get here. Now how does he come back up? And this film does something interesting, which I thought was the logical conclusion of Rocky's character arc, which is pushing him into a mentor role. The problem is that it kind of just becomes a mechanism for him to beat somebody else up at the end. That's it. It doesn't really, they don't really lean into that. And they do later with the Creed films, thankfully. And he really works well in that mentor role. I mean, that was like the next logical progression of his character journey. It's like, okay, he's injured. He can't fight anymore. You know, he's got to make some money, you know, just train some guys. It's kind of weird that Rocky's character isn't more receptive to that at first.
Yeah.
Well, I think the big issue with this movie is the fact that Tommy Morrison is just not a very good actor.
He's not an actor. That's the problem. He's a boxer.
Yeah.
Well, but it's also written very poorly, where it's just, you know, he's begging Rocky to help him. Rocky finally agrees, and then like at a snap, Tommy's like, "Oh, screw you, Rocky. Now I hate you now." It like made absolutely no sense that he would turn on him so totally and so quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that leads to one of my biggest problems with this movie, and I think the biggest thing that bogs it down is that in spite of the fact that, you know, most of the cast is actually pretty okay, even Tommy Morrison, if he would have had some better lines and some better line reads, he probably could have passed as being okay. But it's because this script just fights this movie, just fights the cast and fights the director the entire way through. You know, it's nonsensical decisions like that, you know, or you're even having like you're trying to have this more grounded and gritty return to an underdog status. But then you also bring in like this over the top Don King wannabe with George Washington Duke, who we'll get into here in a little bit. It's like this movie just does not know what it really wants to be. It barely even knows if it wants to be an actual Rocky movie or not, if you know what I mean.
Right, because of cartoonish villains, you know, and a soundtrack that is just completely removed. They moved completely away from the Bill Conti tracks, which are iconic. Not one single instance of going the distance. I don't even think we get Gonna Fly Now in this one either.
Yeah.
No Hearts on Fire. No Burning Hearts. No Eye of the Tiger. What are we doing here?
None of that. No, we
Seriously.
just get this generic 90s stuff that just, I don't know. It's just like hip hop.
Yeah, 90s hip hop, which is like the late 80s, early 90s hip hop has aged the least well from a historical perspective. It is just not really seen as particularly well liked by the community or by music critics as a whole. You know, it's not until you get into like gangster rap that you start to get into hip hop having some legacy. And even then, a lot of rappers nowadays, they kind of clowning on like Biggie and Nas and Pac and all of them. But, you know, it's like, it's a very specific flavor of hip hop that, you know, immediately dates any movie that it's in, just full stop.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
Look, you had Run DMC, but this guy who was doing this rapping may have been Frank Stallone for all I know, right? It's like
right.
It was just some rando doing his crazy Rocky rap. So
yeah, you could have got Schoolie D or something. It's like, come on, man. Shit.
No kidding. But yeah, it's so unsatisfying on so many levels. And then it ends in a street fight with none of the iconic music. I mean, I, on the one hand, doing the street fight is a bold take, and it's like, okay, we're going to do something different. But can't they have at least moved it into the gym so that they could have been in a makeshift ring?
That's what I was thinking, bro. Like, let's go ahead and litigate this whole street fight element, because it's really the biggest problem I have with this script is how it actually gets Rocky into a position to actually fight again. And it's with a street fight, which, I mean, admittedly, if you had a better script, it could have come across as a lot more triumphant and a lot more a lot more essential to Rocky's character arc and everything, but it really just kind of feels out of nowhere. I mean, I know that he is from the streets and everything, but by this point, I mean, he's fucking been a superhero that has taken on like world-ending supervillains practically with Ivan Drago, who he's pretty much a bionic fucking fighter, and it's like now in this movie we're not even going to get Rocky in any kind of sanctioned bout in any way. Like, I mean, it would have even been more satisfying if he would have reconnected with Tommy Gunn and they would have went ahead and faced off with George Duke and another up and coming fighter and in a sanctioned bout. That would have been even that would have been more satisfying than what we got here. And I know you were talking about it could have at least gotten into a gym. It's like, I mean, isn't Mickey's gym just right down the fucking street where they're at?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, why couldn't they go?
I think it's like in the shot. Like the gym is right there. All they have to do is go inside it, and there you go. You have like a ring fight, and
we're gonna finish this in a ring.
And Duke is there, so he can sort of quote unquote officiate it or something. So there's at least like members of the public president. So it's like it's like an event.
There.
And what they could have had, honestly, what they could have done more is lean into the role of manager, have Rocky fully manage Tommy to him winning the final match, and then put him in a situation where he's forced to fight and an unsanctioned match. But it's like there's like some official status to it. It's in a ring.
Right. I mean, look,
exactly.
Rocky 3, okay? Rocky fights 3 like full matches in the ring.
Yeah.
Right? Rocky 5, 0 matches in a ring. Right?
Nope. Yep.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. The number was supposed to increase over time, not decrease. God damn it.
Exactly. And I get that the character now has brain damage from fighting what was once again essentially a bionic fucking commando boxing creature in Ivan Drago and everything. But you know, it's like, man, there's people that have come from like from worse injuries and come back as fighters. Like even in the world of professional wrestling, there's people that have come back from like really bad neck injuries and still like Edge and Saraya and whatnot. They came back and they got back in the ring and they kind of reestablished their legacy and everything. And I know it's not the same thing. I know it's not the same thing as professional fighting, like what they do and prize fighting, but it's like, I mean, and brain damage, that is a terrible thing, but it's like, you know, it's boxing, you know, that just kind of comes with the territory, you know? And I honestly, and at the end of the day, he ends up fighting anyways. It's like a street fight would be probably even worse for his condition than a sanctioned fight.
Well,
so it's like,
and
what difference would it have made?
I think that's where Stallone was going to kill the character off originally. And I think the setup is there. You know, okay, he's got this brain injury. By the way, I like that there are at least repercussions this time, and this film actually tries to acknowledge the events of the last one somewhat. It doesn't acknowledge the fact that Rocky gave up his title, but all the same, I don't think it matters as far as Union Kane getting it. But
well, I know one draft of this had Rocky profoundly brain damaged, and Stallone thought it was just way, way, way too depressing. So they changed it to make it like he took a punch that turned him back into Rocky 1. Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's essentially what happened. And what's funny about it is that Rocky 6 would later basically retcon that by explaining that the brain injury just wasn't as bad as they thought. You know, they misdiagnosed him or something.
Of course they
how about
would.
This?
Come
in
on
Rocky
now.
2, his retina's detached and he's blind in one eye.
And that's never addressed again. I know.
Never again. Get new doctors, Rocky.
Well, Rocky's tried to retire a few times by this point.
Yeah.
So it's like he was ready to stop fighting in Rocky 2. And Rocky 3 he was trying to retire, and then that was supposed to be his last match with Mr. T. I guess it wasn't. Rocky 4 doesn't address that at all. But then again, here at the end of this movie, after the fight with Drago, that he's going to retire again. Okay, it makes sense. The character should retire. Let's put him into a management role. Sure, but I mean, I don't know. Like them leaning so hard into this this brain injury diagnosis, and you know, it's like they're really trying to sell the idea that this is darker. And
But it also leads to back to my issues with the script and everything. It doesn't know what it wants to be. Right. It doesn't know if it really wants to actually have Rocky get back in the ring or not. And it tries to kind of insinuate that that's what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, it doesn't happen when it probably should have just happened that way. So, I mean, that once again, that just goes back to the issues that I have with the script in this movie and why I believe that that's really what fought against everything in Rocky V, and it fought against the cast and the crew and John G. Avildsen.
It's at odds with a lot of the elements of this movie, not least of which are the just cartoonish villains. Like for instance, you have George Washington Duke, which is basically like if somebody made like a cartoonish, obvious, like on the nose impression of Trump in the next Creed movie. That's essentially what that would be.
Right.
It's a little more nuanced than that. It's Don King. Exactly.
It's 100% Don King. And I was thinking about this just now. It's like George Washington Duke offers him millions to fight. And Rocky's like, no, I won't do that. Then he fights the dude in an alley for free. Basically, right? So it's like he's willing to risk his brain now for no reason at all.
Right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What the fuck, man?
Yeah. But yeah, you've just got this just cartoonish performance from him and also from Tommy Morrison, who can't act. And it's not great. Sage Stallone was attacked a lot for his part in this film. I don't know why that was such a big deal that Stallone cast his own son. I mean, I don't see why that's such a huge issue, but I mean, Sage Stallone is fine, I guess.
I'm really going to go to bat for Sage Stallone. He was actually just fine in this movie for the role that he was put in. Once again, it goes back to my issues with the script. The script just could not really write this relationship between Rocky and his son in any meaningful way. It tried to kind of shoehorn in this whole conflict between him and Tommy Gunn and Rocky and everything. But I mean, I don't know. It's like it just doesn't work, and that's not because of Sage Stallone or Rocky or even Tommy Morrison. Even it's just the script doesn't know what it really wants to do with this particular development and everything, and you can kind of tell in the execution.
It's not the performance. It's truly not. It's just I've had it up to my eyeballs in kind of teenage angst. Whenever you include the angsty teenager, I'm out. I don't care. Get him out of here.
I understand.
So, The conclusion that I'm left with is that this film really, its failure just came down to Stallone because he's the one that wrote the script.
Right.
And that's interesting because he's written good Rocky scripts before, but it's just, the direction that he wanted to take this in and that being at odds with the director and the rest of it. Because, if he just fully committed to what Stallone wanted to do and he directed it, I don't know, maybe we would have had a better product, but it was the mixture of these things, but it's almost poetic in a sense because it's like, I think we talked about before how, maybe some aspects of Rocky 1 kind of had an autobiographical element to them. And it was interesting then that the movie that has Rocky get everything taken away from him all at once would then lead to tanking Stallone's career after that. It was like real life mirrored fiction.
That's the thing about this particular movie is you have to really view it within the context of where Stallone's career was at this moment because he had already kind of done a couple of flops. He did Over the Top, and he did I forget the other movie that he did. I forget what it was called.
Oscar, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Oscar, yes. He did those movies and those flopped. So
Stinkers.
He was already kind of waning by the time the 90s rolled around. In 1990, like he was kind of on the skids. And typically, whenever that would happen, I mean, it kind of happened with Creed 3 a little bit.
Right.
That's Creed 3 was kind of supposed to be a return to form for him career-wise and everything when he was at a low at that point. So I mean, he was trying to do the same thing here with a much more gritty and grounded movie, but the way that he wrote it, it just fights him the entire way. And I mean, he makes it a little too on the nose in many ways when it comes to how it parallels his career trajectory and everything.
Yeah.
You know, even down to kind of how he wrote Tommy Gunn's character. You know, Tommy Gunn is almost kind of an anti-Rocky in a way when you really think about it.
Right, because he's a young, hotshot that is given the opportunity of a lifetime, but doesn't have the heart that Rocky has. He's the character foil.
Exactly.
And he is easily swayed and is someone who's willing to turn against his actual idol and the reason that he's achieved success just after 5 minutes of being manipulated by Don King.
He saw one freaking headline that he was the puppet and he was out on Rocky. Rocky picked him up when he was homeless and let him gave up his son's room to Tommy Morrison to live in their basement. It's like an unforgivable betrayal. It truly is. Like a ridiculous betrayal.
Seriously, and it just comes out of nowhere when you like script wise, I
agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess once again, if you view it through the lens of Stallone's career, maybe that kind of makes sense. I mean, his failures just kind of came of his own hubris, I guess. So, I mean, he was trying to reflect that with Tommy Morrison's character, but once again, Tommy Morrison just didn't have the chops or the caliber of acting skills to really convey that in a meaningful way.
Right.
100%. Let me give you a hot take. My favorite ones are Rocky 3 and 4. I think they're by far more fun than Rocky 1 or 2. And I love Carl
Rocky
Weathers.
3 is my favorite.
100%. Yeah. It's the most watchable. You sit down, you're getting Thunder Lips over here, you get Mr. T. To go from Clubber Lang to Ivan Drago to Tommy Gunn, that's like a step off a cliff.
What the fuck is that, man?
100%.
It's such a fall off. Like, why?
Yeah.
It is a fall off because he takes down someone who wouldn't even be a problem for him in his prime. I mean, and Rocky's not even past his prime necessarily. He's just fucking injured, so he can't fight anymore. But, it hasn't been that long for him. God, don't let me get started on the timeline of this, because apparently this picks up right after Rocky 4, yet as soon as Rocky returns home, he has a teenage son now.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah, the Rocky timeline's all over the place, but I feel like this film is the most egregious example. And it's a good reason why it's just often actually skipped in watch-throughs of this franchise. And I mean, if it was just these 5 films, I would just stop at Rocky 4. I feel like that's the perfect
100%.
ending. But now we have Rocky Balboa and we have Creed 1 and 2. Honestly, I'll go ahead and watch all the films when I do a watch through, because I do feel like Rocky 5, while it is a stinker, it is made better somewhat by where the character journey picks up from that point. And I feel like, again, it was the right place to take the character and, bring him back to his roots. And Rocky Balboa actually achieved, telling an underdog story for Rocky after this point, but it's because, you had this timeline of like 20 years to do that. Whereas, here it's, it just doesn't work nearly as well. And it's funny too, because you can, like I mentioned earlier, though, you can just kind of take Rocky 5 completely out of context, throw another line in Rocky 6 that explains how Rocky gave up all this shit after Adrian died. Boom.
Bad investments. I had some bad investments.
Something like that. And then, and then at least Paulie doesn't have this moment of just, because it turns Paulie from a character that was maybe on the ups and maybe turning into a better person into someone who's just, okay, no, he's always going to be a piece of shit. He'll relapse and just always be about himself. And I hate that.
Yeah, man. That's so sad to me, because especially in Rocky 4, I mean, he was actually showing himself to be a really capable boxing trainer, honestly.
Yeah.
And being a good chairman and whatnot. It's like he could actually kind of collaborate with Rocky a little bit. And I mean, obviously he's no Apollo or Mickey, but I mean, he could actually kind of get through to Rocky as a trainer,
Yeah.
And for him to just kind of be really knock down all those pegs, you know? I mean, even though, yeah, like we said earlier, he is a degenerate piece of shit. I mean, that never really changed. He was starting to kind of move away from that and at least be capable and somewhat competent in some way, you know?
It was the robot. As soon as they took away the robot from him, he
exactly, they took the robot from him. They took it from him and he went to shit. Like, what the hell, man? Why'd you take Paulie's robot? Damn it.
Wanted the sad robot roaming around the south side of Philadelphia. That's what I wanted.
He would run into Johnny Five somehow.
Turning tricks.
Oh my God. But yeah, man. I mean, Paulie was kind of starting to get some actual character development in the other movies, and for them to go the way that they did here does bum me out a little bit, you know?
It does.
I mean, yeah, it really does. It's and also I'm gonna say that Adrian kind of gets a little sidelined here as well.
She does,
that's kind of sad.
I think it's because they wanted to focus on the relationship with his son, and I don't fault that. I think Rocky's son is old enough for him to have a relationship with, so that's fine. I mean, Rocky's family is his anchor point. Rocky's family is always the part of the they always come in at the part of the story that turns him around and puts him back on the journey to achieving his desired outcome. And so this movie makes a turning point with his son and stuff, and gives Adrian a little bit of time. But you're right. I mean, she's kind of thrown away quite a bit here.
Yeah, it ultimately just kind of feels like Adrian, in spite of all that, Adrian still tries to get her big, rousing speech in to Rocky, and this time around, it doesn't really work all that well. I mean, in Rocky 3, it was a real breakthrough moment for her as an actress and as a character.
Yes.
And for Adrian as a character, and for Talia Shire as an actress. But, I mean, here, she's very muted. She's just kind of constantly getting in the way of any inkling of Rocky returning to the boxing life and returning to his career. It's like she's just kind of a stickler. I mean, to be fair, I mean, when they go back to their neighborhood in Philly and everything, she goes back to the pet store, and she's still willing to work, and she's fine with losing the money for the most part. Yeah. I mean, it still sucked for her and everything, but I mean, she was still able to kind of readapt and everything. But
it's a good character moment for her, and I appreciate that they took her character that direction to show how committed she was to Rocky, to show that she's willing to stick it through with him until the end. But you know, it isn't paid off really in any meaningful way, I guess.
No, it really isn't.
And I'll say this. I mean, Adrian is kind of up and down depending on which movie you watch. Remember in Rocky 4, she's like, "You can't win, Rock." That's not helpful.
Yeah.
No, but she does come through. Right. She does come through by the end, and she has her Adrian moment where she gets him to start training seriously again. And like I mentioned, we sort of have a moment like that with his son, but it's just it's not done real well. And again, it's just very unnecessary because Rocky Balboa would do a better strained relationship between Rocky and Rocky Jr. than this film did.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, and frankly, Rocky wasn't that egregious to his son. I mean, if my children showed up at work and were like, "Hey, Dad, let me talk to you," I'm like, I would love to talk to you, but I'm at work. I'll give you a hug and a kiss on the cheek, but I'll talk to you after work. I can't just bail because you have something to talk to me about your jacket or something. Come on.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Nice
but I mean, you also have to just kind of think that for his son, that is a pretty. It seems like a small victory, but it's also a big one for him.
It's a big moment for him because he trained. Rocky didn't train him. Rocky was busy with Tommy.
Paulie did.
Paulie trained him. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a good character moment for Paulie now that I think about it. At least that's something that he's kind of suited for. That kind of extends the role that he took in Rocky 4.
Yeah, I mean,
3.
It doesn't completely redeem him for fucking over the family and putting them where they're at, but it does at least established that, he does have a good relationship with his nephew and everything, and he helps him out and whatnot, and it's kind of in the background. It's subtle, but it's there.
Yeah.
And it's like, good on him for stepping up like that. Sometimes, I mean, I'm an uncle. I mean, yeah, you kind of gotta do that sometimes, but
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also interesting to kind of see the whole character arc that Rocky's son goes through, like especially having to actually learn in real time a little bit of street smarts and everything, and kind of learning how to deal with people in a rough and tumble Philadelphia middle school and everything. So he has to learn some life lessons really fucking quick. Life lessons that Rocky was really hoping he didn't have to learn.
Right.
That was the whole reason why he had all that money, and he tried to provide a better life for his family. He didn't want his son to have to struggle like that, but time makes fools of us all. So that's just what's going on with him, and he just and it is a triumphant moment when he actually does take his bullies down a few pegs to the point where they pretty much kind of become his lackeys, right?
Yeah.
E from Entourage is the
Right.
I like how he beats up the bully, and then the bully just becomes his friend, and he also stole the bully's girl. But
Yeah, seriously, it's like, okay, maybe you're actually winning at middle school social life. Who knows?
if only it were that easy.
Right.
See, when I fought back against my middle school bullies, I just got put in suspension. So
Yeah, don't
nothing
work
ever
out like
changed.
that.
It's a lawless
Right,
place.
right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
From a 1,000,000 to 1 shot, he became a true champion of the world. Now, the glory,
Because of the continuous violent blows to the head, the effects are irreversible.
the crowds,
My husband is retired. He has nothing more to prove.
and the money are gone.
You lost millions.
Look, I still got my place in the old neighborhood.
His title is in the hands of a new champion.
He might win a few fights, but he's no Rocky Balboa.
Controlled by an unscrupulous promoter.
This is your medical report. It's not so good, but we can work around it.
All that's left is his family,
We've been down before. I'll get it all back.
his heart,
I gotta fight, okay? I got problems, I gotta fight.
and a dream. A dream to get it all back.
This is a tremendous opportunity.
Opportunity for who? For you to make money for him to be disabled?
You know he can't carry Balboa stuff.
As long as they got Balboa on the brain, he'll always be champ. Got to challenge that man to fight. And if he refuses, then you gotta insult him. You gotta dog him. You gotta humiliate him. You gotta do whatever you got to do to get him into that ring. Tommy, you're a piece of garbage, you know that?
That's it! You told him I'd fight anywhere, anytime.
In the ring. Tommy Gunn only fights in the ring.
My ring's outside.
Yeah? Let's do it.
Come on, Tommy, knock me out!
But yeah, I mean, I think the parts of this movie that do work the best are the family moments, at least. I mean, for what's there. I mean, it feels like a plot line that's just kind of shoehorned in and doesn't make a whole lot of sense with everything else. But it's the part of the film that I think at least works the best for me. Is the emotional strain that Rocky, his newfound relationship with Tommy is putting on Rocky Jr. and his family.
And that is the one part of the script that I will give Stallone credit for, is that there is a little bit of emotional earnestness whenever it comes to how he writes the relationship with the family. I mean, as shoehorned in as it is, and how it doesn't necessarily land 100% of the time, you do get the feeling that that is kind of his feelings about his family at that point in time in his career and everything. Right. So, I mean, I'll give him credit for that. You know, you could kind of tell in the scenes where, you know, it's mainly Adrian and him and his son and whatnot. You know, you can kind of tell.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like it's really the only place you can take his character at this point, you know, after basically, you know, becoming an international hero and single-handedly ending the Cold War.
Yes.
I stand by that. In the Rocky universe,
he absolutely did. No question.
The Cold War,
single-handedly,
with a little help from Rambo.
Exactly. Right. But yeah, like, where else are you going to take the character at this point? Okay, well, let's focus on his family. That's fine. There's been some stuff that I feel like was absent. We didn't really get a whole lot of the dynamic of him being a father, his relationship with his son, who was, you know, younger in the past few movies. So it just wasn't the focus. So for them to move on at that point, I don't fault it for that. In fact, like I mentioned, I mean, there are a lot of ideas that I think are good ideas on paper, but just ultimately the way that these ideas are executed in this film is, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and it makes you just kind of want to forget that it happened. The timeline is better without it.
Yeah, it's just, once again, it doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know if it wants to be a Rocky come out of retirement and get his redemption, their story type of storyline. It doesn't know if it wants to really kind of focus on its on the family dynamics 100%. It doesn't know if it wants to adhere 100% to Rocky being a manager and managing another fighter who was kind of on the same path as him. Either. I mean, it doesn't, and then it kind of goes into the whole, you know, back to the streets, you know, gritty, you know, fight on the streets type of scenario that it ends up with. It's just trying to be so many things at once, but it forgets what it is to be a Rocky movie. And it's kind of amazing that Stallone kind of faltered in that way. You know, it seems like if there was anybody who would really understand what his character wanted, it would be Sylvester Stallone. But you know, I mean, maybe that's kind of why he recognized that maybe he wasn't capable of actually directing this movie the way that he actually wanted, so he tried to go back to Avildsen. But, you know, like we said, Avildsen, he's already been commercialized and just kind of gave more of a product than an actual meaningful, emotional movie experience here. So, you know...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I will give this film one credit, though, and that is... Easily the best part of this movie is the Italian priest, man. That dude is such a G.
Oh, yes.
He's in my dream blunt rotation along with Apollo Creed, Duke, and
come on, give one to Clubber Lang. Why not?
Clubber Lang and Thunder
Come
Lips.
on now.
Absolutely.
Yes. You know that they all smoke blunts. I don't know if Hulk Hogan himself smoked blunts or Mr. T, but they, in that rotation, they absolutely do, and they would be chill. Chill as fuck, man.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if I would smoke a blunt with Hulk Hogan, probably not, but I would smoke a blunt with Thunder Lips.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I do like the Italian priest showing up at the street fight, and he's just cool with it. He's like, cool.
Oh yeah, dude. He just starts blessing everything, and it's just like, nah, we're cool. It's like we're going to go ahead and make this official in the eyes of the Lord, at least. 100%. So
he officiates the boxing match. See,
He's the actual official. He's the referee. Yes,
but you know,
exactly.
It's like, hey father, bless this fight.
Dear Lord. What else is there to say about that? I mean, come on now.
But I mean, yeah, this dude is just fucking awesome. I love him.
He is, man. It's like, well, I mean, was he in any of the other movies, or is he just exclusive to this movie?
I feel like I feel like he's just did this one, but I had canon that he officiated Rocky and Adrian's wedding.
No, that's exactly right. Right. He's the priest that officiated their wedding. He has to be.
Yeah.
That has to be why they were so close and everything. But I mean, he is fantastic, and he's a great addition to this cast, and he makes everything just so much better in this whole movie, I guess.
I wanted more of him.
It. Yes, we should have had more of him.
Give him a side
exactly.
plot.
Bring him back in Creed 4.
Exactly. Just have him in there, and just have him there in the front row of the crowd, and then he just does a blessing.
Yeah.
Just have him there.
Please.
Exactly.
It would be so perfect.
Fucking A.
Oh my God. But I mean, what else is there to say about this movie that hasn't been said before? I mean, we talked about how it doesn't work as a family movie, how it doesn't work as a boxing movie, but I mean, just how does it feel as just a character study of Rocky himself? I mean, does it at least succeed on that level? Does it actually tell his story in a meaningful way in any sense?
No. In fact, everything that this film gets right, I feel like other Rocky movies did better and actually executed, in a satisfying way. So, again, this movie is just very unnecessary. I don't blame people for skipping it and watch throughs. I'll usually go ahead and watch it because I might as well. There's at least some interesting points. Oh, we didn't talk about Burgess Meredith's part. I think that may actually be
that's right.
The single best part of the film probably is
No,
that one scene with Burgess Meredith.
Love Burgess.
He steals the fucking movie just out of nowhere. Yeah. He comes back as Mickey and he gives like the single best line. It's like, I didn't hear no bell. You're like, you get up, you son of a bitch.
I heard in the original version of this film, he was actually in the shot at the fight. Not just his voice, but like his physical presence was there. And honestly, I feel like they should have stuck with that. To just kind of see him. Because I mean, this is Rocky, and even if you're going for a serious approach, I still feel like that works well enough to see the ghost of the character standing there. That's not something out of place. And it would have at least made that moment resonate a little more emotionally.
Have ghostly Apollo there too.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It could have been like Force Ghosts, right? 100%. I mean, Force Ghosts of Apollo and Mickey and everything.
Seriously, why not? With everything else this film tries to get away with.
I mean, it tries to be. I mean, we already had like a goddamn fucking robot in Rocky 4. Why not go in and go full Force Ghosts in this one?
I want the robot to like push its way through the crowd as well. I mean, get them all in.
That would be amazing.
100%.
It was just like, happy birthday, Paulie. It's like nobody bothered to reprogram him.
Amazing.
He comes back, the ghost and the robot comes back to rekindle something with Paulie, It's a positive turn.
Make him a better person again.
100%.
He becomes clean and everything, and doesn't touch alcohol for forever.
Exactly.
That would be so perfect. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, and how about that final moment with George Duke where he says his all-time catchphrase, "Only in America." It's like, I feel that, right?
Well, that was Don King's
that when he said
catchphrase.
That. It was only in America. Yeah, that was his catchphrase. So it made sense that you would hear him bring it up here, and it makes sense in the context of this movie, kind of. It's just like, only in America could something like this be made.
Yeah.
It's almost like the actor just being like, this was a movie, only in America.
This was a movie. Well,
it was certainly a movie.
It was definitely a movie. The funny thing is that George Washington Duke keeps saying, "Touch me and I'll sue," and he goes, "Sue me for what?" And he punches him. "I could still have you arrested and send you to jail.
Yeah.
How about that?"
Right. What the fuck, man? I mean, that's the only satisfying thing about the ending. And then that's my biggest complaint about the ending is that there's nothing really truly satisfying about it. Right. I mean, Tommy Gunn, he's an insufferable asshole, but he was going to get that coming to him one way or the other, either in the ring or out of the ring. He was going to get popped. He was going to pop off to somebody and get his ass handed to him. But, he was foolish to try to make it Rocky and everything. But it's like that's not really satisfying. And even George Duke, but George Duke getting punched, that's about the only really satisfying thing at the end. And even then, it's just kind of Pyrrhic in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like nearly as good of a conclusion as any of the other movies up to this point. Right. You know, after the grand spectacle of Rocky, just speaking to the Russian citizens and at the end of Rocky IV, it's like, what do you like? You need to have You need to have a conclusion that at least measures up to that, not in spectacle, but in it needs to have some kind of emotional payoff. If you want to make this a more emotional film, if you want to make this a film that focuses more on the personal relationships, then we need an ending that pays that off. And I don't think that this, there is no payoff for that at all.
None whatsoever. Nothing in the slightest, and it just leaves me feeling really hollow at the end whenever they're going up those iconic steps to the iconic statue and everything. It's just like, I don't know. It just makes that kind of feel like just like a hollow throwback that's just there for the member berries. It's such an insignificant ending for what is typically a series where the ending is supposed to be triumphant in some way. Like going back to that moment where him and Apollo are about to do their little unsanctioned underground match with each other. Ding ding. And you get that iconic moment. It's like you get triumphant shit like that, or like that speech at the end of Rocky IV and everything, which is obvious propaganda, but still iconic for how ham-fisted and silly it is. Because it's like, whatever, it's Rocky IV. What are you gonna do?
Right.
But what does this movie do? What memorable moment does this movie actually lead for us? Like literally just the Only in America and George Duke getting punched, and that's it. It's like what else is
and
there?
It's like, okay, yeah, he repaired his relationship with his son, but it didn't really make any difference. It didn't encourage him to do anything or to have any effect on his career, and it would ultimately mean nothing as they would grow apart by their adult years, apparently.
Yeah, it's like there was no need for that conflict anyways, because that was never anything that really came up in previous movies. It was pretty much made exclusively for this movie and shoehorned in.
Right.
Yeah.
And while, like I said, still both the Stallones, they actually did a pretty decent job with what they had, and it still felt shoehorned, and it still felt like a weak sauce addition to the script, and it didn't add anything. So what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, what are we doing
for
here?
fuck's sake.
That's what this movie is. Honestly, the only I would be interested to see the Stallone cut of this movie, because I know he did a director's cut for Rocky IV. I would be interested to see a director's cut on this, just to kind of see what was his actual vision, not interrupted with what John G. Avildsen was doing and with everything else. But even then, the script doesn't leave me much hope.
I would not want to see
it doesn't leave me hope that he could. No, what would really be added there that would make this compelling?
You would need to write some things out of the script to improve it.
Yes.
Major elements of the movie, I might add. So yeah, I don't know what version of this movie works, but I'd at least be interested to see the director's cut take on this if he ever did. I know there were some rumblings about that.
I wanted to see Rocky just retire and then punch Polly. That's all I wanted.
Exactly.
There you go.
Let's just do that. Exactly. That's the most realistic ending. He retires, kicks the living shit out of Polly for being a degenerate fuck up, and then just moves on. So there, in credits. Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema.
But anyways, y'all, I guess that's where we can go ahead and start wrapping things up. We're going to get into our final thoughts here, and we will go ahead and start with Kevin from the podcast that wouldn't die. So go ahead and tell us your final thoughts and conclusions on Rocky V.
I mean, my attitude is just save your time, go watch Rocky 3. You'll have a much better time. Everybody will enjoy it. You get Apollo, you get Mickey, you get Adrian, you get the gang, and there's no teenage Danks, and there's no Tommy Gunn. You're welcome.
Straight up. That's about as succinct as you can get, honestly.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, what else can you say? Ash, final thoughts.
It's a mess of a movie. I don't totally hate it. Like I mentioned, I don't even skip it when I'm watching through the series, but it is a disappointment. It is 100% the weakest film. I mean, yeah, people either hate this film and want to forget that it happened, or if they do defend it, they still admit that it's the weakest film of the franchise. It is the one bad Rocky movie. And it has, some good performances here and there, or good character moments, some interesting ideas that are just not executed very well. But, what the hell are we doing here? That is the question that keeps sticking in my mind as I watch Rocky V.
Absolutely. Exactly. As for me, I mean, where were they really trying to go with this? It was either trying to be gritty and realistic, but also still just have all the weird ostentations of the more outlandish Rocky movies, I guess. I mean, there's family drama in it that we didn't really need outside of Adrian and Rocky. There's no actual scene of Rocky actually fighting in any meaningful sense outside of some street fight, which is like, why did we need that? Why did we need to see Rocky fighting like that? That's not fun. That's not Rocky.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that this script did that I'm just like, what were y'all thinking and what were y'all doing with this? It's like Rocky IV would have been just perfectly all right to end at, It's an issue that I have with a lot of movie franchises. There are several franchises, like for instance, the Halloween franchises, where I have this issue big time. It's like they constantly end the goddamn franchise and then just bring it back because they need another cash grab. And I mean, Stallone kept on doing this. That's what Stallone did with Rocky III, and there's no doubt why he tried to do it again. He thought that this would revitalize his career after a slew of flops. I mean, that's pretty much like what happened early on with Rocky III. So, I mean, he already had a bad precedent there for this, and he went ahead and just gave us something that just clashed in so many ways. Yeah. It clashed with Rocky as a character. It clashed with Rocky as a concept for a franchise, and it clashed with the Rocky story arc up to that point, and I'm fine with bringing Rocky back to his roots, and I'm fine with him doing that. He kind of sort of did that in Rocky 3 even.
Yeah.
Going to Compton with Apollo. Yeah. And going and training there and everything. Or I think it was Harlem, actually.
It was LA.
I think it was still on the East Coast. It was LA. No, okay, yeah. It was Compton. It's like, I mean, up to that point, it's like you had this awesome character arc, and what do you do with it here? You just throw it down the drain for what? For trying to flirt around with him, maybe getting him back into a ring, but then he doesn't, and then he starts managing, but then that falls through, and then he gets into a street fight. what the hell?
Yeah.
What were they really trying to do here?
What were
I'm
they
absolutely
thinking?
actually what were they thinking? It's like, what the hell, man? It's like this could have been a home run if they would have just, kept things grounded, but also still, remember that Rocky is still a boxing story. It's still a story about a boxer.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it didn't really, and there were ways that you could center that in a movie about a boxer retiring, but I mean, this was not the way to do it.
Right.
So I'm baffled what Stallone was trying to do with this script. I'm baffled with what Avildsen was trying to do from a filmmaking visionary standpoint here. I mean, he was obviously just trying to make a product. It's not what he was trying to make when he was filming the first Rocky movie and was able to really kind of collaborate with Stallone on a more basic level and everything. It's just a clash of so many different elements that just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to a good Rocky movie. It doesn't add up to a good boxing movie. It doesn't add up to a good sports movie. It doesn't add up to a good drama. It doesn't add up to much of anything. So I'm going to be really harsh on this. I say don't fucking watch this movie. It's painful. It's a painful experience. We should have done this on Bad Movie December. I kind of regret that now because I was not anticipating this being as bad as I remember it when I was a kid and everything. So yeah, this is a hard pass. This is just not satisfying in any way. As a fan of the Rockies franchise going all the way back, it's not a Rocky movie. Just don't bother.
It is easily skippable, as mentioned previously.
Very skippable.
I can believe that Rocky is in the position that he's in Rocky Balboa over the last 20 years, like I mentioned, and after the death of Adrian.
Yes.
I can 100%
Yes.
believe that he's there. So yeah, I don't even need Rocky 5 to explain that. It is skippable and it is unnecessary.
I mean, Stallone himself gave it a 0 out of 10. So
Yes.
if that's
Yeah.
how he feels about it, then I agree.
Yeah, it's so bad that he ended up writing another in for Rocky. And thank God he actually knew what he was doing that time and committed to it. Because Rocky Balboa is a great movie, and I'm actually excited to talk about it next year when we do our Rocky film. Because, it ranks up higher in the list for me. Whereas this one's dead bottom of the list.
Absolutely.
Rocky number 1 is
Yeah.
my favorite, though.
Yeah, Kevin, quick ranking. What are your favorite Rocky movies? What ranked?
I definitely think 3 is my number 1. I think I go from 3 to 4. I think Rocky 1 is my 3rd. And it's probably, I mean, honestly, it's probably the best film. But I find it kind of slow going. And if I'm being honest, I don't need as much of romance with Adrian. I just want Thunderlips. Give me some Thunderlips.
Yeah.
2 is kind of a stinker as far as I'm concerned. I will definitely take it over 5, though. No question.
See, I would actually rank 2 a little higher because I find it to be a much more human film than the other ones. It's a little. It's actually the movie that does succeed at taking a look at Rocky from a familial and from an individual personal stance and kind of examining how he's dealing with the newfound fame and everything, and also dealing with how he approaches the upcoming fight with Apollo and whatnot. So I would rank. I would probably rank 3, 1, 2, 4, and 5. That's how I would probably go.
Okay. I just think there's too much about Rocky being blind and illiterate. I mean, it's kind of a bummer,
right?
if I'm being honest.
A little bit. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I would go. I would go 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, I guess. And the rift between 4 and 5 is immense. I mean, I could kind of go back between 4 and 2, but Rocky 3 is the best sequel. Up to this point, I haven't even talked about where 6 goes in the ranking or where the Creed films fit. Very high on that list, though, because I feel like Rocky 6 and and Creed 1 through 3 are pretty much the best from the series from me since Rocky 1. But that's just my personal opinion. I mean, Rocky 3 is quite good too, though. Of the original movies, I think that is the best sequel.
Absolutely.
Creed is dynamite. I'm not going to lie. I love Creed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Creed movies are great, and I can't wait to get into them after we do Rocky Balboa. That's going to be the next thing, is we're going to start getting into the Creed movies. So yeah, we're looking forward to all of that.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that wraps up our discussion of Rocky 5. Kevin, what is going on with the podcast that wouldn't die at this moment? And where would our listeners be able to find you on the internet?
We are all over social media. We're on Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, Instagram. The podcast That Wouldn't Die. You can watch us on YouTube. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. This week we have an episode on frailty. Last week we did The Hand That Rocks the Cradle from 1992. And next week, X, the man with the X-ray eyes. We're going back in the time machine. So enjoy.
Nice. Ooh, Frailty, the God's Hand Killer.
Love it.
Nice.
Dynamite.
Love it. Hell yeah, that's a great movie. Well, we have to do that as a Halloween special sometime, Ash, because Frailty is actually low key a really interesting horror film.
It's great.
Oh, yeah.
It holds
all right.
up.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Ash, what's going on with Collateral Gaming?
Well, by this point, yeah, we should have out our episodes on Vandal Hearts and Resident Evil Requiem. So we got some retro games, we got some new games, we got a little bit of a healthy mix there. Coming up next, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to move ARC to May. So we're going to go ahead and focus on our April content, which is Bad Game April. So we are covering Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero and Big Rigs. Both those were both your picks, so thank you for that.
Hey, enjoy all the constant deaths in Mortal Kombat Mythologies, buddy. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Yeah, no kidding. But then after that in May, I think we'll go ahead and finally do our episode on ARC, Survival Evolved / Ascended, which I've postponed a few times. But that was Megan's pick, so I'd definitely love to talk about that. And then in June, I'm really excited. That'll be our season finale. We are going to do a full 2-part spoiler review on Claire Obscure Expedition 33. That was my game of the year last year, and we did do half of a spoiler-free review on it. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into my full thoughts on the game because it's a masterpiece. Absolutely. Yeah, I actually would really like to check that out because, I'm a sucker for traditional turn-based RPGs. And if that's what Claire Obscure is, then it's like, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely down. Yeah, what a return to form, for gaming. A lot of people are calling it a JRPG, even though it's a French-developed game. That's cool. Some discourse on whether JRPG actually means that it had to be made in Japan or whether it's a genre. So but anyway, I'm for the latter. I think that it's a genre thing. Yeah, I know it when you see it. I'm on that edge of the fence too. But yeah, it's just a masterpiece. Turn-based combat with like the real-time QTE elements, and it has even some aspects I think I want to say of like Souls-likes in that it has these like optional super bosses that you can get through skill alone. You can you don't necessarily have to grind to beat the game. You can get through on skill alone, which is cool. So it's a turn-based RPG that does that on top of having an amazing story and phenomenal music. And God, I can gush about it forever. Hell yeah, man. That is fucking awesome. Hell yeah. And Ash, what's going on with Collateral Let's Play? On Collateral Let's Play, we are doing Metroid Mondays. Right now, I am working my way through Metroid Zero Mission, and I just have like one more Let's Play left, I think, before I'm anticipating finishing that, and then we'll move on to Metroid Prime Remastered. I'm going through the timeline in order. And then Shooter Saturdays, we're going to jump back to retro content. We did do an episode on Black Ops 7 and on Battlefield 6 earlier. So it's time to do some boomer shooters. And Bo and I, we're going to play some Heretic plus Hexen, which got a re-release last year. So that'll be fun. And then we are continuing our playthrough of Turnabout Samurai and Phoenix Wright Wednesdays. So we've got a couple more Let's Plays left of that, Investigation and Trial, and then we'll move on to Turnabout Goodbyes, the original final case of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And we're also doing other Let's Plays. Like I did a Let's Play on Podcopia the night that came out. So I'm definitely like tracking new games that are coming out, but also just any games that I'm playing for the podcast. I'd like to do a Let's Play on, whether that be new or older content. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Bo, you mentioned maybe bringing back Beat 'em Up Fridays too, so that would be cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of weighing what game we should actually play, because I might actually have you join me on one of those. I'm kind of thinking of maybe doing like one of the Sengoku games, or maybe get into Golden Axe or something like that. Maybe Streets of Rage or something like that. So yeah, no, we'll be getting back into that, especially once we're finished with the season of Collateral Cinema, which, speaking of, with Collateral Cinema, by this point, we have both of our part 1 and part 2 of our Lord of the Rings trilogy review. The first episode, part 1, we talked about the Fellowship of the Ring, and we talked about the Two Towers. And the second episode, part 2, we had Jim from Film Rage join us to talk about the Return of the King and whatnot. So yeah, those are out at this moment. And coming up next is our season finale for season 9, and we are going to have Kaylee from Once Over with Kaylee join us to talk about Pier Paolo Pasolini's Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom, which is a very, very pertinent and on the nose movie to be doing at this particular time in our history or timeline or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, look for that coming soon.
And we'll have some more At the Movies reviews too. I know we talked about doing Scream 7, so that should be out soon, if not already. And then also the Super Mario Galaxy movie, that'll be a collab with Collateral Gaming. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, yes.
We definitely got to cover that.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
The first one that we review, I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. It was, not a very memorable movie, but I mean, still a very fun one. So it's like I'm looking forward to where they're going to go with the second Mario movie. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, and also Project Hail Mary, which
loved it.
Well, yes, me too. I mean, we have to talk about the new movie that I'm downloading my personality from. So,
yeah. So how's that going along? How much longer till you have your new personality?
I saw it opening weekend, and yeah, I mean, he's literally me. What else can I say?
How many times does it take for a Ryan Gosling movie to? How many views does it take for you to finally have your personality locked in?
It's a new personality every film that I watch, because Ryan Gosling incorporates different aspects of literally me into his work. Because like I'm a simp like in Barbie, but I'm also in my nonchalant drive era right now. So.
Oh my God.
Dare I say, I even have my Lars and the Real Girl moments. Not doll fucking, though.
Oh, Lord.
Not yet.
Oh, come on. You can go ahead and count up to the doll fucking. Come on now.
No.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, Ash, where can you find Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming?
Well, you could find us wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, you name it. If there's anywhere we're not, let us know, and we will try to be there. Also, we do have social media presence on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, and Facebook. And we do have a Patreon where you can get access to exclusive film commentaries. We should have a new one coming out here very soon on Fateful Findings. And we'll do a new film commentary on The Disaster Artist, right, Bo?
Yeah, the disaster artist. And we've been meaning to get to that for the longest time. Because we got to see about, Tommy showing ass to sell movies.
He's got to show ass to sell movie.
100%.
You got to show ass to sell movie, Greg. 100%, right?
Yeah. So, we'll have more Patreon content out soon. We do also have a merch store on Dashery, and we do have a Buy Me a Coffee.
Yes. And we are also excited to announce that we are now sponsored by Dubby Energy. Go to the link in our show notes and use the promo code CCinemaPod to get... I think it's like 10 to 15% off of, or like 20% off of your first order of Dubby. It's a good product. It has jitter-free energy extracted straight from coffee beans. It's sugar-free. It's pretty much helped our pocketbooks as far as not having to buy a bunch of Monster energy drinks and whatnot. And the energy is comparable to your typical canned energy drinks. So you can find different types of flavors. They have collabs with anime such as Freyrin and Chainsaw Man, as well as others. And it's a hell of a product. So once again, use the promo code CCinemaPod to get 10 to 15% off of your first purchase of Dubby Energy.
Hell yeah.
So check that out.
Yeah, it's a great product. I've been enjoying it as well.
Yeah, it's a good product. I have the Push and Punch. It's a good fruit punch flavor. It's really, really good with cold water. Where you get a nice tumbler as well. It's a great product. I enjoy it. Yeah. But anyway, fellas, that does it for this episode. Is there anything else that y'all would like to add?
No, I think I'm good.
I'm good.
Right on. Well, with that said, I am Bo, only in America Maddox.
And I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Kevin Dougherty.
And this was Collateral Cinema. Our season finale comes up next. See you then. Laters. Collateral Cinema is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and movie clips are owned by the respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.